Hey, good morning, my neighbors. Welcome to another episode of BYTTT. Before you take the trade, listen, folks, I got links down below. Go ahead and follow my link tree so that way you can find out more information about everything that I do and what I offer. Down below, I do have a special deal for all my seasoned traders. Right now, Elite is giving 90% off of their entire set of programs. All right, so get yourself a subscription. And then also for those that are asking for some help, I am doing a full on get yourself funded program. Down below is the link on how you can sign up for that. That said, we got a lot of work to do, so let's go ahead and get into the charts. The first thing I want to go ahead and talk about is that NQ is doing its thing right now. It is making a nice little push to that upside, and it looks like we're going to go ahead and get some more as it's trying to get new highs. You see on the weekly, this is what we're looking for. We do have some bearish momentum around this area here, so I'm very curious, are they going to go ahead and high five or tap and push up and get into this area so that way, hey, we got ourselves new highs. Thank you. Right, there's a possibility we can, but there's a 50%. Oh, let me go and charge it. All right. Right, there is a 50% mark that is sitting right here around the ballpark of 22,323. I think this is going to be a very, very tough area for them to capture, only because of the fact that at the end of the day, this ticker here has been kind of slow walking, stair stepping along the ways as they try to get these new highs. It doesn't have the same momentum oomph, kind of like how we had this in Christmas. We kind of stair stepped here, but then we had a nice little explosion. This one feels like that stair step, and we're trying to get there. We could reject a little bit earlier than that. So if you're not already in the position as far as long-term positioning, you may want to wait till the dust settles, and it could be a couple of earnings that they're waiting for. All right, so just be smart about that. The other one, of course, oil is in this area. I think we're going to get a nice little bounce. Let's see if we can get a break above 72, and then let's talk about the dollar. Dollar bill. This one right here is putting what could looks like that could looks. What is a could looks? That could look like a mother baby. And if you don't know what mother baby is, it's kind of like an inside bar reversal, where if this week finishes just like this, where we don't go nowhere, we get more consolidation, more chop, more of this almost like contract transitioning of like quad witching type of action, if you've ever experienced that. If we get one of those actions this week, I'm thinking that we're going to get a nice little pop, as the bears for the dollar are thinking, oh my God, we had this massive move down, but we can't make any lower lows. Let's get out the way before we get hit by a freight train. Okay, so I think that's the action that we could be facing come next week. That means a rising dollar means a falling market. So just keep that in mind. And if you think about it, that's kind of in tune with, let's just say we slow chop this whole entire time, get the new highs, but it doesn't have no real impactful move. We're going to have to pull back a little bit so that way we can go find new supporters to get us to go to new highs. All right. What else we got? Actually, you know what? Let me go over my red list. That's what we'll do. I think that'll be fun for us. Got a few tickers in here that I was watching. Let's start with Reddit. If we look at Reddit, let me get rid of all these drawings and bring this out. If we look at Reddit, Reddit is a new baby. It just got its 200 EMA. Isn't that cute? You know, it just got here. But you can kind of see nice little rise here. If we go over to the weekly, we could kind of get a little bit of a sense of all the deviations as we make our uptrend. You got 1 point here, bang to bang, and then we got another deviation, which is pretty much from here to here. And then the last one, which is making this thing kind of go parabolic, is this area here that needs to be retested. And we're very close on retesting. If you ever did one of my classes, I always say the third deviation is always the trickiest one, because by then you get a lot of people that has FOMO and they got hair triggers as far as taking their profits. But you can kind of see nice little rejection after the earnings that week. Was it this week? Let me see. Last week, right? So last week's earning bang. So now you got this action that's happening right here that's being tested. Can they get below this level, or is there enough supporters from here at 189 to here, which is where they bounced at 192, to push it back up. It is down pre-market about 194, 195. So we could get ourselves a nice little push to the downside to retest this trend line, then reverse to that upside. But if it can't hold this, market dominance is already telling us, hey, you know what, we should be reversing soon. Let's see how this goes out. All right. The next one, it is, nope, that's not what I meant to do. It is Moderna. Oh my God, how the mighty has fallen. This is a ticker. You already know this was a pandemic darling for all those COVID vaccines, right? So they are the company that plays around with DNA for cures. If you really think about it, they work on RNA, hence the reason for RNA in the middle of their thing. But if you look back here from the time of their peak back here in August of 2021, it has not looked back. So we got ourselves deviations of this downtrend, still making lower lows, still making lower lows. If there's going to be a reversal of its fate, it has to break that pivot. So this is an area of interest if they ever did find a nice support. But the problem when you have companies like this and it's a one-trick pony, because all they do is COVID vaccines, not even just vaccines, just COVID vaccines, you get yourself a little bit of a problem. So they are operating in negative EPS, even though there are some surprises where they pop up. But when you are negative EPS, that means you're not going to return shareholders through pricing where people are going to invest and buy into your company. Look at that. More negative. And you get some pockets where it pops up, but here's a negative EPS, and this one is forecasting a negative EPS. So if you want to get a sense of what is valuable for people as far as an investor, you got to make me money. And if you can't make money through the books, then that means you're going to lose money somewhere else, and I don't have the time and energy. And I think that's what the market is starting to price in. But here's something that's very interesting about Moderna. It is at its lowest of lows. We're talking about back in 2019 when they were, an infant of a company, right? And I think they're coming back to some of these levels, building these bullish divergences here. And this is the one that's going to be very, very interesting for this ticker, because if it can find a base at, I would say maybe $20 is the lowest and doesn't break under 20, because under 20, this thing's going to go back to the OTC. That I'm just being honest, right? But under $20, and I do apologize, SoFi would never end up being in the OTC, even though it's under $20. Just gotta put that out there. I love my SoFi. Anyways, so you got the $20 here. If this thing breaks, this thing's going to OTC because they only have one trick, unlike SoFi that has multiple tricks. Anyways, so look for Moderna to find a way to bounce between $20 and $32. And if it doesn't, bye. All right, next ticker. Let's talk about this one. I got some lines in here. Let's get rid of these. This is Shopify. Shopify, really, really good company for retail, especially if you're starting your own business. They basically took eBay's lunch money and then some. And I think they still have that partnership with Amazon. I want to say it was during the pandemic I heard about that. Let me do some research on that. Don't hold me to that. But you can kind of see nice little curvature right here after that drop from the pandemic run. People were starting to open up their small businesses. You got a nice little good curvature right here. So these are where we build our deviation. Here's our lowest point, and it made a higher high over here. So we're going to go ahead and capture this one. They penetrated to this level, but did not penetrate the pivot. That's what I like to see. They did not penetrate the pivot. It held. So that means this was that nice little push up. So that means the moment when we broke this level, because there is no such thing as a higher high without a higher low. That's it. Before you can do that, you got to be able to break this so you can confirm that this is actually a pivot or a higher low. All right, so right here, nice little break. They broke the pivot that was on the upside, which is this one right here, which is the resistance that they were looking for. Bang. And you see they gap right through it with earnings, and look where it did. It did not look back ever since. So $91 is a dollar amount. It's currently up $30 from that point. Well, actually 38 to be specific, right? So this is a nice little solid move for a ticker that really bounced off of their pivot point. So the question is, where does Shopify go from here? With the consolidation that they're doing here, I think they're trying to establish this as the new pivot, which is here. But again, how I taught you in all my classes, here's our first deviation. Here's our second deviation right here. Come on, get there. Actually, now we made a new high, so technically it's right here or here. So now whatever we're doing at this point, it needs to hold this trend here. So there's a pop. Oh, you're in the wrong spot. I want you down here. Right? There is a possibility that Shopify can do some massive moves to the upside using that third pivot. But again, that FOMO, fear of missing out, it hits certain levels. If I'm the type of person that's been down since the original pivot because I saw something that made me get in from this level, or I'm an institutional company and I'm looking at taking my profit somewhere, I'm already taking out one layer of profit here, another layer of profit here. A massive layer of profit is going to be probably in that third deviation away from the original trend line, which is this one here. So I'm very curious on how the price actually responds. Actually, kind of not my spot. There we go. I'm really curious on how this responds for Shopify, but if it rides this trend, I would say go ahead and take a shot at it. Right now, we had a nice little bounce off of it on Wednesday. If we can get ourselves maybe like a solid pullback into this candle, maybe 126, you probably can get yourself some more highs. But remember, psychological levels are key, so 130 could be very tricky. So I will probably put a line right here, looking for a strong breakout with a stop loss somewhere inside of this range between here and the trend line. And if it breaks the trend line, I am out of everything because this thing can go back to this trend line and really feel painful. All right, last ticker in my red list. Just added this one on here, which is Han. That kind of saw a little peek of it as you were coming in. I was looking at this. Actually, let me bring that back. Let me not do too much. Let's come over to the weekly. I'm looking at this fair value gap here. If this fair value gap can actually hold its weight coming in and they try to take a shot of it and then they reject somewhere between this zone and the bottom of this fair value gap, so that's about 207, then they're going to make a major attack against that 200 level, and somewhere around maybe 196 is going to give us that bounce. But if it does not, and this thing gives another consolidation style candle for the week, especially with dividends being paid out on the 28th, so that's about 10 days from now, so next week Friday, not this week Friday, right? Yeah, next week Friday. So you could get yourself where people are starting to scale out of their position along the way, anticipating that this bad boy is going to go ahead and continue down. So just keep that in mind as you're playing, hun. Oh, I got an alert for market dominance. Actually, let's go check that out and see what's going on over there. So I like to use market dominance on the 45-minute. It's one of my favorites. And you could see right here, it is anticipating. I'm going to get rid of that right there so I can see that clearly. It's anticipating that there could be a considered pullback here as they went ahead and liquidate the bears here, and failed to liquidate the bears down over here, which is roughly around 3 a.m. There could be a pullback here. Let's see. Let me put this as main so I don't confuse you. Come on. Get there. There we go. So here's my main Fibonacci, which is just standard 236, 382, 50, 618, 786. You already know. This could be a nice little pullback, maybe to come back to the 50% and then bounce. I don't think we have any news that kind of could create that catalyst. Let me take a peek and make sure. My FX books is one of my favorite. I know some people use Forex Factories and others, but I like my FX book. I'm used to the colors. I know where to find things. Consistency is key when trading. We got somebody speaking at 10:20. Fed Daily. Housing Market Index is coming out at 10 o'clock. Oh, we got a bill auction at 1, which is a 52-week, which is a year bill. So that could throw some things. Fed Bar is going to be speaking. That's going to make things interesting around 1 o'clock as well. So this could be all setting up for a very interesting test of the 618, depending on how the market responds to these levels. So that said, Market dominance, I'm looking for, because we're bullish, I really want to play more to the upside than I want to play to the downside. But of course, if we can break this support, we can really cascade down to these levels. So that will make things so much more fun. Possible 236 bounce while keeping the fair value gap. And then when the Feds start running their mouths, that's when we go ahead and give it back. So right now we're establishing what could be the fair value gap. And I'm assuming maybe something like this will end like that, and that'll be our bullish fair value gap. Again, this is not what is going to happen. I'm just assuming based on those parameters so that way I can stay bullish. Let's see. Let's come down to a 5 minute. See if we can get ourselves a paper trade. Ooh, is this thing starting to build a little bit of a divergence here? Yeah, we're struggling. So we got this nice little spike here. We've been making spikes all this time right here. More of a histogram divergence because we're trying to get past this level here as far as strength. Maybe. Yeah, just maybe. Yeah, you can kind of see like we built that fair value gap on here with the 45 minute right there, right? But if we come down to that 5 minute, which is one of my favorites to get in as far as the entry, it's basically an order block here. I don't think they're gonna have a free fall coming through here, especially the way this 5 minute is structured. Let's look at the 15 minute. Nice strong wick. Everything is in balance. We're sitting on a 15 minute fair value gap that started back here roughly around 8 o'clock. Yeah, I'm thinking upside. Caleb! Bear with me. If we can get a nice little upward trend, maybe something like a stair step type of action here, that would be a solid move. So we can go ahead and take some new highs here. Let's see if we can find that. While we do that, let's see, we got, oh, not you, I'm talking about my 5 minute. While we do that, we got a new 5 minute here. Let me get myself logged into paper trade. So Tuesdays we do paper trade. Wednesdays, very minuscule setup. And I was doing my leap. And this is like, I always forget about it. I don't know if y'all join in with the leap, but I kind of play around with it more, so I don't even take it as serious as I should. One of these days I will. So what I'm looking for is, we already got this as a structure, getting as close to here as possible. I like scaling, so I'm going to go ahead and go with a 2. All right, it looks like the first minute and the 5 minute, they can't get it lower than that. So what I'm thinking is, something like this as far as an entry, and seeing if we can just hold this structure. Again, this is a scalp because we are at high points and we're looking to just continue to make it higher. I'm using this fair value gap as a support factor, and that new buyers are going to come in to try to rebalance certain areas, which again brings us through that order block that I showed you earlier, that the weekly we're kind of rejecting the zone and it could kind of really start to push down. But if we get past that 23 level, which was the 50% mark, this thing should give us some pressure to go ahead and continue to make some higher highs. So what I'm going to be doing is probably looking for something along the lines of this being the base, looking for more of a buying opportunity somewhere around this area here. So I'm going to get a nice little order here and see if we can get ourselves a nice little cascading type of action, attempting to get new highs before the market opens. Look like we're getting a nice little stride at it. There goes that pickup. Oh, almost picked it up. And I know what you're saying. You're like, well, Jeff, this is in the upper register here, so it's overbought. If we go to the 15-minute, looks like this. 45-minute, looks like that. So could it be that the 45-minute is just getting the party started? I already got triggered with my market dominance as they're trying to go ahead and liquid to the downside, and we're failing to do so. Hence that alert right there. It was supposed to finish as a red candle, and they went ahead and reversed it, and now it's looking more green because you put other confluences like fair value gaps, the Fibonacci, didn't get to the 236. So it can still go down. Not saying that it can't, but I'm going with the probability of this fair value gap being the one that gives us a little strength, the Fibonacci being there. If we go retest that Fibonacci, I have no business being in this trade. It looks like we're probably going to get that. That's why my stop loss is there. But I'm looking for them to not only pick up this order, take off to this upper register and the upper side. But we'll see. I might be completely wrong, but again, this is what trading is all about. What do you see? What do you plan? And if it does make sense, take the trade. And as long as you have a stop loss that makes sense, look at your risk to reward. My real target is above the 323, which is the new high. And if I could carry about 4 contracts of that, that'll be great. So let's see. It is 9:08. So we got like 22 minutes into the market open. So let me just do a nice little recap of what we do here. Very simple. We take trades based on right here, market dominance. That's one of them. Market dominance is a proprietary indicator that I kind of created to try to anticipate what the next candle can be. There are times where the market ignores what is the norm. So I think we were in the midst of a retracement versus a reversal. So if it was going to be a red candle on the 45-minute, that would have been a reversal. But right now, using other confluences and teachings, I realized that it looks like we're going to get a continuation. So that was the pullback for entry, and that's why I entered. Another way that we take trades is using opening range breakout. Something very simple. It's good for beginners. Everybody does it for the most part. At least I know some traders that they only live and die by it because it's very consistent and almost predictable. We do ours on the 15-minute, and we use the 5-minute as our catalyst when we break above or below the level, so that way we can go ahead and take that trade. All right, so to kind of give you an example, we're going to use yesterday's price action. So we're going to go ahead and drop down to the 15-minute. Let's get rid of this Fibonacci. I know yesterday's price action, there was no real volume because it was a holiday. I understand, but we're just going to use this as an example on what we do. So here is Tuesday at 9:30, and what I did, I made a custom. Well, they just picked up my other order, so I'm looking for this thing to kind of continue, and if not, it'll hit my stop loss down here. So today is Tuesday. I'm looking for Monday. What am I doing? What am I doing? All right, Monday at 9:30. Where are you? That's 12:30. Looks like it's about right here. All right, there's our 9:30 candle. I retooled a Fibonacci to kind of show me. I always forget how I want to do this. I think I got it backwards. Let me just remove it. I think I have it backwards. So our top will be here. Our bottom will be here. Don't worry about what it looks like. It's just I need these lines. Boom. It looks so pretty. So I'll be bullish above this level. I'll be bearish below this level. And I hate playing in ranges. So I put this as stranger danger. Do not play in the middle. Don't diddle in the middle. I got to remind myself of that. So let's look at yesterday's price action. They did kind of try to break out here. Let's do a drop down to the 5-minute so we can make it all make sense. So we had a nice little break here, right? And then when we had the break of that opening range, what did it do? Nice little push. They tried to push it a little higher, couldn't. So before it actually did anything crazy, it had a nice little pullback of about 14 ticks. It tried to go back up. So if you could weather the 14 ticks, when it got up to about 25 ticks, or maybe when it came back to -8 again, you was like, I'm going to take it the next time when I see 25 ticks. There was 30 ticks. Again, there was very low volume yesterday, so this makes a lot of sense. So let's just go ahead and see. Did it give us any other instances of being able to break out of the opening range? There goes your stranger danger. Look at all these wicks at stranger danger. Ugh. Don't diddle in the middle. Don't do it. If you caught the pivot off of it, congratulations, but that gets me in trouble. I am not good at that point. Just to let y'all know. All right. Don't diddle in the middle. All right, so now nice little break right here. All right, so we were up what, 25 ticks. So now this one, it gave a bit of a pullback here. Well, not really. It was the close, right? So it gave a nice little push up to here. That's about 18 ticks, right? But let's just say 18, you was looking for another 25. By the time it pulled back on you, so you're talking about being pulled back like 25 ticks, so you probably would have got stopped out before that. So let's just call it 0 at that point. Another breakthrough was right here. This is now overnight, yeah, because we're already done with the day by then. So there, so we got overnight, and then this is the one that probably was the one to really play. Nice little break. Had a pullback about 11 ticks, and this thing kind of drifted enough, and this is where we are right now, about 60 to 70 ticks. So you probably could finish with 60, 70 ticks if you did some of the overnight session, because we had a short day and you still wanted to kind of trade and see an opportunity. All right. We're trying to make those higher highs. It's just not. It's fighting it. It is just fighting it. Let's look if there's any other levels that I could consider. If we had a nice little breakthrough, I would play. That 23 is still the level. I don't think I want to add any more. It's very toppy. I saw as much as 140, I think I saw. But I'm willing to risk 540, because if I am right and they don't hit this stop loss, there's a strong possibility we break past 523, which is around this area, 524. Psychological 525 should be penetrated as well, so that brings us past here. If I squeeze the chart down, let's go to a 4 hours so we can kind of see it. We could put some real pressure on some of the price action here, and that price action will bring us into 352. That's what I'm looking for. Now, we don't have no real volume. Again, the market's going to open up very soon, so I think that's the balance that we need to do. So just be patient along the way. I'm going to let this operate in the back end. Let's go check out gold real quick, because I want to see what's going on with them. Oh no, that's my oil chart on gold. All right. Oh, we're getting through that 618 danger zone. If we can get past 2939 right here, this is the one that's going to go ahead and fill that fair value gap. The momentum of filling that fair value gap should bring you through the 786, and then we're going to go ahead and do a nice little beeline all the way to that 3000 possibly, but at the very least, the new highs that we just put in. Nice little deviation of trend line right here as we put in some pressure. As long as this 4 hour holds that level, MACD looks really good for a cross up. Stochastic look like it's going to break through the 50%. That's going to give us some more momentum. If we can get all this to this top register, even if this puts in a bearish divergence, we should get a nice little spike to that upper register, as long as this kind of holds. All right, let's see if there's any other tickers. Let's go to the earnings list. So I got a whole list of all the earnings that should be coming up. Let's look at this month. If you like REITs, REITs are the ones that usually pay dividends every week. Not every week, every month. I'm talking about every week. I wish there was dividends that paid every week, but this is dividends that pay out every month. O Realty is a good one. They tend to stay around the same range here. I would say we're close to 800 EMA, and this is the area that it tends to bounce. I'm gonna keep on looking right. I'm gonna look left, and you can kind of see that was at 800 EMA on the weekly. And if we keep going, boom, 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 boom. This is when the 800 first established, so it would have to be somewhere around this. So since 2009, it stayed up there. This is the 200 on the weekly. That's another spot you can. But since we're at the 800 now, I am very, very interested because we had one more bounce here. This is the October 23rd bullish run. I think we could get ourselves another bounce right here. Even though this is like pointing down here, they're a good company. They're a REIT. They return money to shareholders through the dividends, 26 cents. Their EPS they're expecting is 0.36. This was 3.4. They missed it slightly, but their job is not to make money on the shareholder side. It's giving out these monthly dividends. All right, so very, very good company. I'm very curious on how this earnings is going to pan out on the 24th. So we'll see how that goes. I already talked about CMG earlier. Affirm. Affirm is just breaking out and breaking out and breaking out. You got bull flag breakout there. You have a little tiny bull flag breakout that happened very small here, but then they kind of consolidated and then broke out. So I'm very curious on what the firm does. If you don't know who they are, they're one of the ones that does the buy now, pay later type of structure. They partner with like Amazon. They funnel a lot of the stuff through them. Their competition is like Marqeta, which is the one that powers like Klarna, and Upstart is another one. So they got a little bit of competition, but the space I think in this economy is a lot of people are looking like we need stuff. So they're using a lot of this buy now, pay here. I mean, buy now, pay later. Buy now, pay here. I don't know why I keep on falling back to that. Anyways, that's one that I'm really looking for more bullish momentum, getting back around that 94. Currently, it's at $82 in pre-market, and you can see with the stochastic of the weekly, this now is nice little breakthrough. Solid entry would have been probably last week, and then you just continue to that upside. $73 was a key point, but a nice little break of $76, which I'm like, I missed. I forgot to put an alert, and I had levels here. That's why I'm like revisiting this. You get a nice little break into this $82. It is what it is at this point. All right. We got about 11 minutes to the market opens. We'll go check out that trade in a little bit. Let's see what else we have here. NVIDIA, a strong company, of course. A good one to do open range breakouts too, because it's one of the catalysts to the Qs. This thing is back above that 140 again. After this massive drop, after tapping 150 twice, I thought it was going to be a massive M pattern, and it just starts the whole drop and drags the market down. But you can kind of see we're getting a nice little we got a nice little work right here that is getting done, where we got a nice little push all the way down here. Use the 50 EMA as support, and then we got a nice push right back up. Currently it's at 141 at the pre-market. I'm looking for a possible breakout over here. I got this like set here. I'm like 147. Man, there's no way this thing is going to slow down. Might even get to 160 before it hits the brakes. Nice stochastic reset on the weekly. If we go over to the daily, you had your push up, but again, this is going to give you that curl like it's going to dump again. But I think that's going to reset this stochastic, and there's going to be another push, and that's going to trigger my alert. So I'm very curious on how the video responds to this. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. Let's go over to NQ. Let's see how my trades survive. Did they hit my stop? I don't see no trade. I think they hit my stop. Hit my stop, didn't you? Yep, no trade going. All right, so I lost $560. All right, cool, no problem. Let's go back to that 5 minute. So even though market dominance can let you know where to enter, look at where they bounced it, right inside of that fair value gap. Even though market dominance can let you know what could happen, where especially when we're talking about a bearish candle, you could see that they're not just letting this thing fall right back down. So I think they're waiting for the open of the market to really test some of these levels and see where their real bulls are sitting and where they're not. Oh, hold on, I gotta get my son this tablet. That one. All right, so looking at that, it looks like we got ourselves a nice little solid bounce here. I wonder in the next 3 minutes, is this going to make a low or a higher low? Because if it does, I might take another position going into the open. Again, I am in my.
Because she needs
Okay.
me
I
to do my work.
I have a feeling for the most part because I can get a very very good price being close to the fair value gap of my 45. It looks like we didn't penetrate the 50% point of it, so it might hold. And if it does hold, I'm not going to get in too early because again, like this is pointing down, this can fly right back down to here, so don't do nothing reckless. But if this thing can build a base right here, kind of like how they built the base right here, yeah, I'm gonna take it right before the market. We'll see. Patience is always a virtue when it comes down to trading. Do not chase the cat or the cat will strike back. Look at that. Nice little bounce. Nice bounce. You got psychological level 22,300. You got fair value gap of the 45-minute. We can't even get through it. You got order block that's sitting on the 5-minute. Can't get through it. Everything is just telling me like they kind of push this down. Probably try to grab as much liquidity as they can. Oh, don't get me started with the fib. When I put the fib, we was at 236. Oh, they taking another stab here. They're trying to get down there. They're trying. So what's going to be required here? So we're going to finish at 925 on this candle to kind of give you a little bit of what my thought process is here. And 925 is going to tell me that we didn't penetrate this area. So what I'm expecting is that when we don't penetrate that area is that we have a bit of a bounce kind of like this and start to take out that area. So I wouldn't want a doji per se for that reversal, but I would love for this thing to kind of give me something a little bit shorter, maybe something like that where it wicks in. I would love for it to be a higher low, so that means that wick right here would be higher, and then we could go ahead and try to anticipate that there's going to create a new trend here as the volume piles in. Patience, folks, patience. It's not about being in the market, it's about being in the market right. Oh, look at what they did. They spiked it. We just got hit with my alert letting us know that they liquidated a lot of bulls on the pullback. So it wasn't a retracement. It could be potential reversal. And they just spiked that. That's why I said do not get in too early. Or maybe they're looking at my YouTube video and the institutionals are coming for us. No, I'm joking. I am joking. Well, we do have a nice little solid 5-minute kick right here. So this could be some repositioning here as they try to get better prices. So we'll see what happens there. This fair value gap got destroyed. Let's go back to the 45-minute. Let's put the fib back on. Let's change this to my main. They came straight to the 50%. Wow. Could this be the pivot here? Let's come down to a 1 minute. I'm very curious on how the action works. So we're 1 minute in the new 5-minute. Could they be like literally not going to let this get down to like a 618 or anything like that, and they're going to pivot it here? Then that will take out that kick that we just put in there. Could that be the move? Do not chase the cat. Yeah, because if you did not get this downside, we are fighting with a psychological level of 22,300. They came back to test the 22,300. Basically, this 382. All right, we're 2 minutes in. We got about less than what? 2 minutes? 3 minutes. We got less than 3 minutes into this candle's done. So we're gonna find ourselves a spot if it presents itself. Patience, folks. Patience. Oh, look at that. That was our higher low, and then they went ahead and got him. They got him. Nah, they brought him. They dragged him into the 618. So what do you do with this 618? That's 45 minutes. Ooh, look at that. They are liquidating everybody. Look at that. Like I said, I don't want to chase the cat because we got volume of the opening coming in, and we got put. Actually, did that come to? Yeah, we got complete reversal. Complete reversal. We could fall right through here and continue down. Are you going to use this area as a pivot? Massive moves. Oh, I didn't think we'll get that much of a move before the market opens. Wow. Let's come up to like a 15 minute to kind of put this in perspective. You're talking about price action that was since 4:45 this morning. They're erasing all of it. All of it's getting erased. That's about 50-point drop. That is a 50-point drop. Almost there to the 9:30 open. I want to see how this price action does. Do they wipe all this out in like 33 seconds? Or does this do like a continuation here? Or could it come back to our opening range breakout of yesterday? Again, not really an opening range breakout. The market wasn't even open at 9:30, but most traders in America play at 9:30. So could that be the case? Maybe they just come here, use this opening range as a refill, and then they just bounce it right back up. Very possible. Very possible. We got 3 seconds, and here we go. Huh. Very mute. I thought I was going to get something like something violent, something, and then boom. Yep. And then bounce. I think we're going to get a nice little solid bounce here. Okay, get a little bit of a penetration, seeing if any of this reverses here. Because I did think we was going to get all-time highs before we had a massive drop. That was a 53-point drop. That is not a small feat. Remember, we get $20 per point. So that was a $1,000 drop for NQ. We got to test that fair value gap, right? Is that what we're going to do? Are we going to get a chance to like really see if this is going to hold? Oh, look at that. They are smacking that thing down. We're about to get to that stranger danger zone. Like I said, stranger danger, the way I marked this line, is an area where we start to really just play around a lot. I don't like stranger danger. That's the one that kind of liquidates all your money. Almost like that block is going to be our order block. Almost. I'm not sure because this thing can fly right through it whenever it wants to. But if that previous day holds, this will be our range to for the buy of the dip. That's what it kind of smells like. This is us testing that fair value gap, seeing if we can get some type of establishment here. Solid move. Do we attack more of this fair value gap because we took a nice little stab at it? Do they use that fair value gap to make us go into the opening range and break down? We're back inside of that range. Do they reload? Does this finish as a doji on the 15-minute? Or is this 5 minute, new 5 minute, the first test and now they reloaded again? Lots of questions to be asked here. In a minute, we're going to establish our opening range. They're trying to get that lower wick. Very interesting price action. Yeah, I think they're going to go ahead and go right through that lower wick. They're trying their best to kind of establish a base, but I don't think they can. I think we're getting a lot more selling pressure. That fair value gap right here on this 50. Did I do it in 5 minute or 15 minute? Let's adjust this. Yeah, that fair value gap right there. Very tough. Very tough. They might have to go under the range to go find enough support to get us back up there. Another buy of the dip. They are liquidating the bears on that one. Damn, that was really evil. That's probably like at least a good $200 to $300 move on the bears just there, depending on how many contracts they had. We're almost there to 15 minutes. So here's our 15 minutes. So far, our opening range is this. It is 268, 22,268. And the low side will be bearish about below 220. Oh, there goes my 23, 223 again. That's the area that we would be possibly bearish. We didn't really go anywhere. I didn't expect us to have very little volume like this. This opening, they must be waiting for maybe the Fed speaking at 10. Maybe that's why. It's almost like we're in a holding pattern. They will not let this thing come back above 250. If it breaks through 250, this thing is gonna go stupid to the upside because we've been really torn with that 250. If this thing breaks 223, this thing is gonna go real crazy on that opposite side. And that 250 didn't have no real strength. That was a good attempt at that 250. Very interesting. I really, especially being a 3 day weekend, you would think there'll be some more volume than this. Look at this, sideways all through there, sideways, 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 sideways. We almost established our opening range. Patience, folks. Don't force no trades. Hold your water. Yeah, very quiet. I could only imagine what the other tickers are doing. Let me go ahead and pull up my earnings list. Let's see what's happening here. Let's see who's the bigger movers because they're probably playing around with some of the gaps. Lockheed Martin's trying to make it a push up. And Eli Lilly. Yeah, look at that. Like no one has real control. Sideways, 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 sideways. Especially after this massive drop off. So it kind of tells me the Bears are looking for this to kind of break down. Let's call it that for right now. Kind of like a wedge. The Bulls are looking for this to hold support and probably break out of this 250 stranglehold that the Bears have. So who's going to win? The Bears or the Bulls? If you're watching this on replay, go ahead and put that in the comment. Bears or the Bulls? Who's going to win? If you're watching on replay, you probably watched it way after the market close. All right. Almost established our 15-minute opening range. It is set for the most part. We got 44 seconds, and I don't think we're going to get a massive move. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. So our high is that level. Our low is that level there. That's what we got so far. Let me put that line back and go back to here because I want to see how this acts, how this reacts. Oh, that was jerkish. They was like, Jeff, watch this. We got something for you. We're going to bring this even lower. That's our range. All right, we're super bearish. Did they reverse this back up? Got my market dominance alert. Let us know that there could be a retracement back to the upside. We'll see how that goes. Let's go to here and zoom in a bit. We're going to look for a 5 minute to close below here with some strength. All right, they made a nice little push. Our line is kind of around that stranger danger area of our previous day. Not much of a fan of that. So we're almost to our opening range. So we got a lot high here, a low there, a 5 minute close below 214 will be great. We got 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Let's see if we can get this closed. Because we could get all the way down to this 800 on this 5 minute. Let's see what the 15 minute looks like right now. We got 2 minutes and 29 seconds to the 5 minute closes below that level. Almost there. 2 minutes. Just be patient, folks. Don't force nothing. If we can get a break right around here, because it looked like we get a little bit of a retracement due to the fact that we kind of broke below that 5 minute. They're trying to liquidate a little bit more. I think we're going to go back to the downside. I think this is just that end of the 5 minute bounce that we tend to have. All right, 42 seconds. Do we close below or do we close back above for our opening range breakout? Now for our more recent one, our opening range breakout was here, but this is the opening range breakout of yesterday. So this is going to be very interesting. 19 seconds. Let's start with a small position on paper. See how that works out. I think we could easily get into this area here for my 800, so around 165. About 67 ticks is not bad. Oh, come on. I thought we could get. I was looking for a bounce, but I guess I was a little too rigid, and I thought we could get at least a tap of it before we did a pullback this far. But I think that's all they probably have. Because this 5 minute close below 2 breaks. So I'm seeing if we can at least hold on to that. I'll probably stop it. Yep. Stop it out here. 20, yeah. So we got a nice violent move on that bounce back up. If you did play this to it, or you had to take profit just a little bit before it, and that's probably what I should have did. You should have got like about 50 or 60 ticks, but I was in light leverage just to attempt to see what we can get here. Um, could this be a reversal to bring us all the way back up? Very possible. Yeah, yeah, I think it is. Oh, you put that from 9:30. It is, but it was going to do it only when it found a level of support. That was the whole thing, right? So you got a strong EMA, like a 800 EMA. If I go to a 15 minute, so we were breaking under the 200 EMA. That gives you that idea as well. And again, there was low volume on this drop off yesterday. I wasn't too sure or guaranteed that it was gonna stay under there, but I was looking for us to go test even back it down to here. That's what I was curious about. Can we get there? So this is a nice little reversal that happened. Look at that. They even made it back to my stranger danger line. And they're about to go into the most recent opening range breakout. This is why you draw your levels and you play your levels. Perfect example, perfect reason right here. Yeah, so this thing might finish as a doji on the 15 minute. Look what they did to the 5 minute. Nice little spike. Took out the recent sellers. My market dominance is already letting us know that might be a little bit of pullback because this was violent and that was violent back up. I didn't get no alert though. Oh, could they reverse this all the way back up? Maybe we get something at 10 o'clock. Yeah, we'll wrap up at, yeah, 10 on the dot. Let's see what happens here. Let's give it one more candle. Javi, you in this upside? Did you take it back up? Yeah, because that was going to be real tricky, especially breaking out of two open ranges. I think we could be retesting and then coming back. I wait for 10 o'clock. Yeah, I could agree on that. I knew it was coming to a level of support that can be very bouncy. So that's why I kind of was like, small position, just in case you're wrong. I have other strategies. I got one that is a little bit higher of a leverage, anticipating that it will do that and scaling out profitably along that lines. If you want to know that technique, it's one of them that I'm going to be going over in the Get Funded class. Down below is a link for it. Just go ahead and sign up. And of course, there's limited spots. That way I can cater to each and every individual fairly and accurately, so that way they're successful. All right, come on, come on, come on. I think you're gonna break back down. You didn't do too much of a strong move. I'm looking for it to break 205. See if it can. It's breaking out the top. It's back inside of our stranger danger area. I think this is where the Bulls and the Bears gonna fight, probably between this 200 to 250 back and forth. We might establish a range like that. So for my range traders, kind of keep an eye on that. See if that works out for y'all. They're trying to stay away from that 223 area. So at first the 223 area was right here. That was the establishment of the original part of what's today opening range was going to be. Then they took one more stab at it. That's why it's making me a little apprehensive of anything bullish. But this reversal was very strong coming off of that 800 EMA, and that 800 is usually tough. So when we get these bounces off of it, it usually runs for a while. So I'm very curious on how the market's going to handle this. We got like 2 minutes until 10 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and see how this goes. $41 left. They kind of took a little bit of a stab to see if they can get any lower on it. I think the Bulls just bought the dip. We established our higher low. If this pivot holds at 195, we might fly right back through and take a stab at the fair value gap above there. So keep that in mind for your opening range breakout. If we break through here, that is our current opening range. Yesterday's opening range, they're all sitting around the same area. I would say a break above 275 would be a stronger point, but of course, we're waiting for the 5-minute close above the opening range itself. All right, new 5-minute just came in. See what they do with that pivot. Might be the pivot that tells us if they want all new highs or not. All right, this thing is like making a nice little move to the downside. I got to order around the 800 to see if we can get a nice little breakthrough, because I think they came up here because they knew it was going to be tough. So we'll see what happens there. See if we can get a cascading effect as they hit stop losses all the way down. Let's come up to a higher time frame to see. This will be our breakout. I just got my alert that they liquidated the bulls that was there. Let's see if we can get any lower. All right, looks like they're giving it a little bit of a bounce. All right, yeah. So I think we kind of covered quite a bit. I'm gonna leave y'all with this because it looked like the market is trying to range it instead of just keeping the fall coming down. So I would say just keep your levels marked off. Another level that we could be going for as we try to get to this downside is probably the fair value gap that will bring it to 141. I think that's the true number that they're looking for. So that is the point. So probably get us through that imbalance and then kind of dump all the way down into probably down there around 110, somewhere around 110. So we'll see what happens as the Bulls and the Bears continue to fight. That said, I bid you a fond farewell. You have a great day. Don't forget, I have my links down below. Elite is doing a special of 90% off. 90% off. And also, Get Funded class is open. Get yourself signed up, and I will see you there. Yeah, have a great day. Good luck. Bye bye.
Recording stopped.
Yeah.